All right, let's get started. Good morning or afternoon or night, everybody. Welcome back to more biology. So this is going to be your first ever online kind of watching a video lesson. So I'll try my best to make this work. So basically, for those of you who already did this in odds, this will be somewhat of a review with some extras tacked in. So hopefully this sticks. So I is for variation of traits. You guys spent a lot of time getting up to this point now where you understand how DNA works, how it codes for things, how we pass on information. So now we're going to talk about actually passing on information. So watch this video again. It kind of shows you how DNA gets clumped down into chromosomes, which will be the focus of today. So, what causes variation in traits? We've talked about this before. Remember, think back. So, we figured out mutations and we've done mutations. We've covered how mutations lead to variation. Now it's time for the second half of this thing. We're talking about Shania with her sickle cell, how she inherited it from her parents. Sexual reproduction will be our focus. So, how do we inherit traits from our biological parents? Your guiding question: how does sexual reproduction cause variation in traits? So, this will be kind of our focus, and we're going to talk about essentially sexual reproduction. The first step to that is going to be making sex cells. Remember, sex cells are gametes. Your sex cells are your sperm and eggs. Those are the human sex cells. So, feel free to follow these instructions. Do this on your own time. You can pause this video now and go do that if you haven't done so already. So, sexual reproduction. We've all heard of it. You've heard of sex, but there are steps you need to take beforehand. So the first step is actually meiosis, the process of making sex cells, sperms and eggs. Then there's the process of fertilization, when an egg and a sperm are joined to make a person. So we need to learn some specific vocabulary before we get started. Now, each of our cells have 23 pairs of chromosomes. That's 46 total. These are all homologous chromosome pairs. Remember, homologous means same. That's the idea here. So if you look at this diagram, this is the normal human karyotype, the normal human diagram of chromosomes. So you look at it, it is 23 pairs. So each grouping is the same size. So imagine as you have 23 slots. So you have like a slot 1 chromosome and you get one slot 1 from mom and one slot 1 from dad, because that's why you have 23 pairs or 46 total. You get half from your mom, half from your dad. This is what they're talking about. So one comes from mom, that's the maternal chromosome. One comes from the father, that's paternal chromosome. Take a look. Do you guys notice anything in particular about these? Notice anything interesting? So each pair is the same size, and the size decreases, they go down. The sex cells are the last two, so they're the only ones that will be different, because female X and X, that'll be the same, but male X and Y, you'll notice, because X and Y are two different things, your chromosomes will be different as well. Besides that, all the others are matching, because they're all chromosomes. They're also the first set of chromosomes will code for the same things, the second set will have the same things, and so on and so forth. They match up. They are homologous. It's important to remember that. So we have 23 pairs of chromosomes, and they come in different sizes with different genes on them. Each chromosome has different genes on it. Remember, chromosomes are made by tightly bundling and packing DNA. That doesn't necessarily mean all the DNA goes on one big chromosome. They break up, as we said, into 23 pairs. So this leads to something being very important though, because a gene, you have a gene that gives you your hair color and your eye color. The thing is, other people have hair color and eye color too, but it might not be the same as yours. This is where the term allele is going to come in. Look at the one on the left. So these are two homologous chromosomes. Let's see, these are the fifth slot one. So the one on the left is from mom, one on the right is from dad. So that chromosome happens to contain the genes for making earwax and eye color. Now, the earwax one, both mom and dad have the same allele. It's red and red, so they have the same allele for earwax. So it's the gene for earwax. They both have the gene for earwax. Obviously, they both make it, but they have the same type, the same allele. But look at eye color. That section is coding for eye color. Those are the gene for eye color. Everybody has eye color, unless you're albino, but we'll get to that. Everybody has eye color, so that's the gene. So they both of the chromosomes have the gene for eye color, but you'll notice that the alleles are different. Mom is giving a blue eye allele, dad is giving a brown eye allele. They're both still giving the gene, but they're given different alleles. And this is a big deal. You'll see why as we move on. Basically, this is what we're talking about though when you pass on different traits. This is where it's happening. So we're now going to model the process of meiosis. Remember, meiosis is the process of making sex cells. So you try to follow along at home. If you can get a hold of these things, that's great. Please follow along at home. If you can't, you can use other objects or foods that are very similar, or you can just draw it out. Your choice. So either follow along with the similar things that we have here, or just draw along. That's totally fine. We're now going to start the modeling of meiosis.